So welcome to this day when I decided today to share my healing journey that I've been on. And I know that many of you also have been on your own healing journeys. I'm just going to start with what happened in the last year. I happen to have a calendar that was given to me by the hospital, and every day I have to put my blood pressure on it. And it was just 1 year ago that I had my first incident here in Florida. And that was when I went to the hospital with a TIA, small stroke. And it was really, man, it was my angels again who actually got the diagnosis, because I was standing there chatting with a neurologist who was really interesting. And at the Jupiter Medical Hospital, they have a very different policy for their doctors. Doctors stay on duty for 2 weeks, and then they have another, I can't remember, it's a week or 2 weeks off for themselves, just to garden. In the case of the neurologist I was speaking with, he spends a lot of time in his garden on that time off. And others go sailing and fishing and all the things that we could do here in Florida. So they had looked at me first with, I forget, oh yes, with the ultrasound, and they didn't see anything. So he thought that I was okay. And then we were chatting, and then I took a sip of water and I choked, and he said, choking, that means something has happened. And then they did an ultrasound, and then they found the TIA on the part of the brain that does not affect speech or movement, which I was very blessed with. So, it was interesting. And I was so blessed because first my sister Susan came for 2 weeks, and then Robin came for 2 weeks. And it was a really special time here. Thank heaven we moved from Hawaii, because they sent nurses to me every couple of days and different healthcare people. It's just amazing here what we have available. And I took that, somebody said, okay, I'm thinking what probably one of the doctors said, what could possibly have caused this? And I'm quite sure I know what caused it, because the day before I had just realized from reading what it means to take care of somebody with Parkinson's, which is what Roland has. And I was shocked, and I thought, I can't do it, because I was already dealing since 3 years with Epstein-Barr virus spike and Hashimoto's. I mean, we all have Epstein-Barr in us, virus that we have in us, but mine had spiked. And I think it was the life change and realizing that, I don't know, I'm away from everything here in Florida. Anyway, whatever it was, it happened. And so then I recovered, and I was doing quite well, except I was on a few meds, and I don't do well on that stuff. So I wound up having, I don't know, a couple of months later, I wound up with a spike in my blood pressure. And then they put me on amlodipine. And at the hospital, they put me on 45, whatever it was. And a couple of weeks later, I mean, I was having brain fog. I was really unbalanced. And I was depressed, and I didn't recognize the depression. And Kirsten kept saying, Linda, I think you're depressed. How could I possibly be depressed? I mean, I'm so blessed with where we are and the health that we have, but I didn't recognize it. And my PA, because we don't see doctors, rarely do you see the doctor. Here they have a personal assistant who often actually is way more useful than the doctor, because they really look at you in a different way. And she said, oh, this is way too much for you, because your blood pressure isn't that high. And so she put me on only 5 milligrams, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be okay with that. But I still, you all, kept having all of this brain fog, the what can often be attributed to the Epstein-Barr and Hashimoto's. And I had friends who were not able to function. So I thought the fact that I could function even though I had to be really careful how I walked, I thought I was okay. So I kept thinking, am I going to be able to work with horses again? Am I really going to be able to have my balance around them? And then I thought of some of you, because I know a few people here who've really been dealing with a lot of problems, and you keep going. And some of you are you're my role models, you've been my heroes. So, what happened then with this last blood clot that I had in my right lung was a blessing. Holy mackerel, you all. You know, I've had only a few injuries in my life, but nothing like the pain that I had. And when I got to the hospital, they thought they were going to have to remove my gallbladder because it was just like unbelievable pain in the gallbladder area. And so they did a ultrasound, and they're really good in the hospital. They didn't find anything. So they thought, sometime we've missed this. And so they put me through again the second time. And this time, they said, it's obviously not your gallbladder. We're going to check higher. And that's when they found the blood clot in my right lung. And that was one of the most useful things that I think ever happened to me. And I just have to stop a moment. Ava, you made it. I'm so happy to see you here. So, thanks. I'm just going to cry being here with all of you, so many of you that I know so well. So why this PE, as they call it, pulmonary embolism, was a blessing is that the doctor said, look, it takes time to heal from this kind of stuff. You'll be fine. And I was so blessed because they put me on Eliquis, which is the latest in blood pressure medicine. And it doesn't seem to have any side effects, which is what I was told. And I have really narrow blood vessels. So what the doctor said that's been the blessing for me, for those of you who know me well, I wasn't supposed to do any work. I was supposed to take time for me. And listen, you all, I realized I go to one of these dentists who uses ozone, and they ask you a lot of questions about your health. And one of the questions I was asked, what do you do for fun? I don't do anything. And fun for me, it's reading, and I'm having time to read now. But the last time I had fun is when I did a 10-day retreat in the mountains. That was incredible. Or I take time and I go to, well, we took a wonderful Christmas cruise for 2 weeks from Singapore to Hong Kong a couple of years ago. But we just don't take time for ourselves. So what I've been doing every morning, and now I'm getting up early again because I was sleeping all that time when I was on this amlodipine, whatever that drug that wasn't good for me was. I was sleeping till 9. Now I'm getting up. I stay in bed till 6. We're doing the Course in Miracles every day with our group at TTouch for You. And thank you, Denise and Marnie. Thank you so much. And it's been just a treasure. So I get up and I sit and I journal, and I've had so much fun just journaling and watching my oxygen level go from 90, 91. And that's what was happening to me already in Hawaii. And in my dreams in 2018, it started. I had these dreams, I have to get oxygen. And so I didn't, my doctor didn't think anything was wrong, so they wouldn't even give me a sleep test in Hawaii. And so I tried to rent an oxygen machine and tried somebody to help me. And it was really expensive. So I didn't do it. And what happened when we got here to Florida, I want to talk about oxygen because I read this book, which I shared with a lot of you, Breathe by James, oh God, I had it. Marnie, I think you know.
Nelson?
Sorry? James, anyway.
James
Nestor.
Nestor, thank you. Yeah, it's Nestor. And so we started taping her mouth because I knew I was sleeping with my mouth open. It was really dry. So we started taping her mouth, and that was really incredible. And so then we were talking about it with Eleanor Silverstein, and I said, well, I know, after the blood pressure spike, my doctor suggested that I be tested for the problems with breathing. And I said, well, but I don't snore. And Eleanor, we've shared a room before, she said, yes, but you do snore. Roland didn't think I snored. We wouldn't have done it if Eleanor hadn't spoken up. And so we did the test, and I was having a huge number of incidents of not breathing every hour. So I've had the CPAP now, and I'm so grateful for it, because I don't have any incidences anymore, and they're really dangerous. And you know what, I have friends who snore like crazy, and I don't understand why all doctors don't ask that question, do you snore, and have them tested. It's a test that I did at home to find that out. Anyway, it's really made a big difference. And then I'm trying to think what else. And then of course, Janet Varhus is here. We were talking a lot, and I was with her, and because of the stuff I was already having in Colorado with problems with fatigue. And so anyway, she suggested we get an ozone machine, and which we did. And I started doing rectal ozone on a regular basis. And then we got here to Florida, and I had ozone oxygenate your blood in Italy. And then I got here and I started looking around, and Kirsten found the osteopath that we go to now. And I do something called EBO, and it's a 3-step process. Man, if you have any issues like some of the issues that I know a lot of people are having, it's really worth checking out if it's in your area. So they take my blood and take it out, and it goes through a filter first. And both times I've had at least half a liter of quarter of inflammation fluid that pulls it out separately from the filter. And the last time it was 1.5 liters. It actually spilled over the first time. And then it goes through that filter, and then the blood goes through I think it's EU light to get out more viruses and stuff. And then the blood gets oxygenated, and then it goes back in the other arm. And I just had I had a session of 3 first, and then this time I just had my second one. And my blood pressure this morning, my oxygen level was 97, and I've actually had 99, which is a big deal for me, having been running in the 90 and 91 level for years, actually, in Hawaii. So I'm feeling really different. And so the last time with this pulmonary embolism, blood clot, for which I'm blessed, I, of course, was sent home with a bunch of pharmaceuticals. And so I called my Dr. Anne-Marie Lambert, who used to be my naturopathic doctor in Hawaii, and she's now moved to Tennessee, which is a lot easier to contact her. And I said, what can I take instead of all of these? Like, what can I take instead of this amlodipine? And so I'm now on 8 different, it comes in a little bottle. I don't know if you call it a tincture or not, but it's a combination of 8 different plants. And my blood pressure this morning was 112 over 70. And it's just, I take like 60 drops twice a day. And then, listen, that showed, they said that they thought that I had, what do you call it? GERD, but it's, when you, what is that called when you regurgitate your food?
Acid reflux.
Acid reflux, thank you. But I thought I don't have it because when I did have it, which is sometimes, I just did 3 or 4 heart hooks and it goes away. But of course, that was not getting to the basis of the problem. And so I asked Dr. Lambert, what can we do for that? And I'm on this stuff, which is like incredible. It's a derivative of licorice and it's Resonate, Rizинate, Resonate. It's really tasty. You just chew 3 little pills after eating and it just helps the microbiome. And so for everything, I have something now from Dr. Ben Lynch. Dr. Lambert recommended this instead of, oh yeah, that's instead of this pantoplasonol, which I am certain couldn't be so good for me. It's acetylcysteine. And so the only thing that I'm taking that's a pharmaceutical, and I'm taking is with a blessing in my heart, is this Eliquis. So what I've been doing is also, and I think, Teresa, you said that Umberto is on it also, right? Yeah, and it's interesting, and so is Roland. And what I've been doing, thanks again to Eleanor, I changed my shoes because, listen, you all, I was walking like this. I mean, I was bent, my head was forward, I was thumping. As a matter of fact, for quite a while, I was walking flat-footed. I was shuffling, in other words. And Eleanor said, you've got to get out of those Crocs, because I mean, I love them. But she was really concerned that I would back out of them and fall. And so I have my new Skechers. And what I did, again, thanks to Eleanor, she gave me a gift of a Feldenkrais lesson, and I actually wound up getting 4 of them from a really magical Feldenkrais practitioner who comes here for a month every summer. And his name is Dwight Parget. And so he gave me 4 lessons. And what happened, I was rolling on my Skechers. I mean, these are incredible shoes. Bring my foot up. Can I do it? Let's see. Oh, I can't turn it sideways enough that you see, but it has a rocking effect. And what was happening, I was rolling along pretty well, but what was happening at my knee area, because you all, for months, I couldn't feel sometimes my knees, or I couldn't feel my thighs sometimes, and sometimes I couldn't feel my lower leg. And so I felt not like a normal walking person. So I was jamming down. And after a session with one of the sessions with Dwight, I think it was the 3rd session, I suddenly started rolling. And he said, instead of worrying about bringing your head up, just lift your diaphragm. And I went and looked again to see exactly where the diaphragm sits under the ribs. And so I could imagine lifting it. And then he said, put your hands on your hips and move a little bit, move your hips with each step. And Roland said, it looks like you're sashaying. And that was a game changer for me, because what happened, I'm instead of jamming over those knees, I'm just doing this little movement that is so much fun. And my mom, when I was 12, was saying, get your shoulders back, dear. And when Wentworth Tellington used to work with us, Lynn, you would remember this, I'm sure. There were times when I had a stick between my elbows. And I'm sure, Marnie, you remember this too. That was a standard thing from these cavalry guys, right? But of course it doesn't, it's not so good for you all. So anyway, that's not even a question now. I lift my diaphragm and I just sashay and I smile, because I can't help smiling when that happens. And I just had this amazing feeling of being upright. And I remember Mia Siegel, our absolute master Feldenkrais teacher, saying, lift. This is like when she used to give me lessons like almost every night, because we shared a room during the summers and 2 summers in the Feldenkrais training. She'd say, lift your horizon, Linda. I mean, that's part of the beautiful Feldenkrais work, is changing where your eyes go. So I am feeling so much better. I can't tell you all. And part of it is you just can't imagine that I can take the whole day just to journal. Oh, yes. And a couple of other things that I'm doing. I'd be really interested to know if any of the rest of you found this. Again, for years, I have known that I should be taking electrolytes, but I talked to a couple of friends who took them all the time, but they were pilled in the form of pills. Didn't feel right to me. And so I've been looking, and I got some stuff from Costco, and that was great. And then I was talking to my friend Tom Mitchell, and he turned me on to something. Here, I wrote it down because I want to share it with you. Some of you might, it's of course on Amazon. Everything I get is on Amazon. It has, it's 4 initials. It's not a name. Here they are. It's L, M like Mary, N like Nancy, T like Tellington. And they have 4 flavors. And my favorite, and Roland's too, is mango chili. And my second favorite is apricot, no, sorry, grapefruit salt. And so I have a big bottle that I keep that's from Hunkapi. In the end of January, I flew to Phoenix to do a fundraiser for this wonderful organization. And I didn't know if I could manage, but I thought I could at least get my hands on a little bit on a horse, because I still was so unbalanced that I had to be super careful. I couldn't actually take a horse in the hand and really lead it. Although it's really strange, you all, because as soon as I get into that situation with a horse, I can do it. But I don't feel safe unless the ground is really flat, or I wasn't then. Now on my magic Sketcher shoes and my new feeling through my whole body, I am no longer spacey. I'm no longer in a fog. And I'm just praying I'm holding that that's going to stay. So just a little tip, some of you, if you're not on electrolytes, boy, read something about it. And one of the things also, Roland has been, for years, has been wanting to eat a vegetarian diet. And I always said, it's just not possible because you don't get enough protein. And then our friend Diane Hayward, she and her husband they have a organization international that's called longevity training. And she said, Linda, just look at this movie, The Game Changers. Well, it changed my mind, and I recommend it. And looking for my other book. So there's just no question it's a really interesting documentary on so many world-class athletes who have been actually vegan, not just vegetarian, but vegan for years and been very successful. And then it turned out that Shannon Weil has a really good friend named Scott Jerick, and he is the world's leading ultra marathon runner. That doesn't just mean marathons, it means they run like 150 kilometers and back. And he writes this book called Eat and Run that I couldn't put, actually, I'm listening to it on Audible. I couldn't put it down because in each chapter, he has one of the recipes that he uses during the runs. And they're simple to make, and they're exactly the directions. And I'm just downloading it today because I was doing the recipes by writing them by hand because I want to get that. So starting on it. So we're just having a really good time. And I have the time now. I have another 2 weeks before I go to Washington to Maryland to teach my first in-person training. And I'm daring to do it because I've got really good assistants. So if it turns out that I don't have the energy to, give it my usual all, I can just sit back and enjoy the others teaching. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I would love to know, the thing that keeps me going is, I think of Sally Swift, and I think that what the changes that she made in the world, and my God, how she managed. I did co-presentations with her, and here she is, this person who's, here I'm worried about my head being a little bit forward, but I can change that with real attention. And she couldn't, and it didn't matter. She changed the world for many, many people with centered riding. So I have a few pictures that I want to share with you. And one of the things also, it's been my absolute dream, and that is to be able to have a garden. And not a big garden like my grandmother had, but even just a few herbs. And be able now, of course, to integrate that into our food. And so we have, with my dream here, to have hibiscus trees. And so we now have, bushes, and we now have them planted all around the pool. So I'm going to show you a few little fun pictures here. See, go to share screen, share. And I took this picture this morning I wanted to share with you, because here is Griffin, and here is one of the things when we came here. I went to we have these amazing stores that sell furniture, that is repurposed. And this little cushion that says "Simply Blessed," that's how we feel in our home. And up above this, you see Griffin. Now he's kind of taken over. This is a wonderful down couch that was a third of the price. And he usually sits up and looks out the window, because he can watch when I come and go. He can watch the gate from there. So he's kind of taken over the couch. So we keep it a little bit covered like that. And then, let's see, I want to see the next one. Come on. No. Just a moment. How do I get out of this one? You can do this. Oh, pray I don't take this all. Oh, good. Okay. Now, come on. So I took this picture this morning because this shows my Skechers, and I have also a pink and turquoise pair that I love. And the dogs are always there helping me. And I have pinned this wrap because this is from Robin's wrap book. And all it does, it's really loose. I can turn and you can actually see this is not tight. It's one of these highest quality base wraps. And I was able to put it on myself, and I pinned it here with these, baby safety pins that we use with the dogs. And it just reminds me to lift my diaphragm and bring my head up. And it's wonderful. So this is celebrating rocking shoes, because that's what they're like, these Skechers, and they're so comfortable. Let's see what else. Okay, we stop this one. Oh yeah, and for those of you who don't know this book, this is Robin's wrap book. And this has many, many things that you can do yourself to help yourself with these wraps. And the colors makes a big difference. Who wants to wear, like these are originally the ace bandages. That's what we buy, the best quality. Don't go to the dollar store to get them because they're way too stretchy, and that means you're going to put them on too tight. This is just laid on here. See, it's not tight, but it reminds me, it's just, I'm the idea that I have, thanks to Dwight and the Feldenkrais lessons, this concept of lifting my diaphragm rather than pulling my shoulders back and moving my hips. What a difference that has made to me. So this is all wrapped up, and you can get it on our website or if you're in the US or in Robbins, of course. And I'm hoping that some of you might share after with it. And oh, this is great. This is a very short 40.
I start playing around this time of,
Oops.
I can't remember exactly how you do it, but you kind of go left, right, left, right.
So this is an exercise ladder that I had in Hawaii, and I could run and jump through it. And the other day I actually ran through it. I haven't been able to roll over my feet and run. You can see I have a little help here. And all around, behind that fence are 57 hibiscus bushes. And 2 days ago, we had 23 blossoms. So this light may not look like
It's
much,
fun.
but I couldn't have done that without really taking the chance of tipping over, falling like just 3 weeks ago. And then I wanted to share, this. This is something I've taken time every day to, when we moved in here, we have this huge TV in the in the big one room we have. And we have this YouTube that we pay, I think, I don't know, maybe $9 a month. So we don't have advertising, and they have the most incredible podcasts, and the TTouch for You is up there. TTouch for Tellington work is up there, and all these wonderful images from around the world. And that's what we keep wonderful music going on, classical music, and all the time. It's just now gone off. Let's see what I wanted to see. Oh yeah, I wanted to share this with you all because I dared to get on a plane, and I started taking a wheelchair a couple of years ago after I, fell down the escalator and injured my elbow and my humerus. And so I dared to come alone to Scottsdale, and I did this fundraiser for this amazing organization. Actually, I'll turn the sound off. Now, this dog, they at Hunkopi, it's Hunkopi, it's an Indian name. At this place, they have, and this is the person who owns and runs this place. They have 1,700 registered volunteers. For many of you I know work with volunteer organizations, and it's so amazing the way they keep their horses, and they take in some dogs, only a few, and they're all loose. It's not like they're in, kennels or something. But this was a dog that was taken on, and he had apparently snapped at a child in the house he was in, a child who just, apparently threw himself on the dog, and he's a young dog and wasn't prepared for it at all. So they wound up with him. And the day before, I was asked to look at him, and you'll see him moving. And what I observed about him, he never looked at anything with his eyes. He didn't, like he was not there in the body. And the big thing is, watch his tail. It's just against his body, and his legs are moving the tail. It's not like he's connected to it. And his head was down a lot, and he just wanted to be somewhere else, to be away. And the thing that I really love about this, come on, oh, there, he actually turned and touched my hand one time, and then a second time. And the idea, for those of you who may not know or work with dogs, is to bring a dog like this, just give him a safe sense about his body. And that's what these 1.25, almost a quarter TTouches do. It's this golden spiral that's the same shape as our DNA. And finally, after all these years of people being able to reduce their own pain or fear or relieve their own fear, I understand why this is true now. And because this 1.25 circle is like this magical, it's like when you do it on your own body, it's like turning a key to enter this phenomenal intelligence that is divine intelligence, universal source intelligence in every cell in our body. And what has kept me going all of these years is the idea, I'm just going to stop the share, is this realization, you all, we're all miracles. Everyone, all our animals, we are miracles. And when we recognize that incredible intelligence of our body, of our cell, of every cell in the body, so we have an opportunity to make not just a difference to ourselves, but on the whole planet, every time we recognize that. And one of the books that I really appreciate that actually Teresa Cottarelli, who's here with us, turned me on to, it's called The Song of the Cells. And it's one of the latest research books on cellular intelligence that have been recognized since the 1600s. And one of the things they say, you know, there are tens of thousands of known functions, exactly how cells work, the mitochondria, all the cells, but nobody can say what's behind, how does that work? And so in that book, I just love the fact that they call it command central is what's behind this. It's the divine of each one of us. And when we do our heart hugs or we do TTouch on ourselves or our animals, and we remember that, we are just like turning the key to tap into this wonder that we are, each one of us, everybody. And it's another book that I'm listening to for my second time. I'm now listening on Audible, and it's called One Mind by Dawson Church. And talking about these different proofs, different studies that have shown how we can make connections across the planet. So each one of us who recognizes that in ourselves or in our animals or in another being, when we look at them, when we recognize that, that is a game changer, because that goes out into this quantum field. And it's through that quantum field that we have this concept of the possibilities of calling to us everything that we need. And one of the things I wanted to share with you, and I wasn't able to get the picture up, darn it, is I had these, like I've had frozen feet. I remember it starting in Hawaii in 2017 already. God, my feet would be like ice cakes, but they wouldn't feel like it to the exterior, and my ankles, and sometimes halfway up my legs. And so I thought about getting an electric blanket, and then I'd put socks on, and I was sleeping under a lot of quilt. Really, a down quilt usually helps, but never with my ankles. So I had this concept. Suddenly I thought, I've got to go on Amazon, and I want those old-fashioned leg warmers. I wonder if they still have them. And I have the cutest, I love these leg warmers. And then I thought, but you know what? My arms, like I remember when I was 9 years old, sitting milking my Jersey cow that my dad gave to me personally. I was so proud that I got to milk this Jersey cow before school every day. And I would have these dreams that my hands were opening and had crevices because they were so chapped. And my arms have been really, you know, these older person's arms have been so chapped over all these years that I didn't want to touch them. And I had like alligator skin on my legs, and I didn't want to touch my legs. And then I realized, you know, that's not a good thing. Come on, I'm a touch person. And it's not a good thing that I don't want to touch it, but I didn't know what to do. And I was visiting, we had a family reunion in Canada a few months ago, and my brother handed this to me. And now I smear it on my arms, and my arms are soft and they're no longer scaly, and my legs are no longer scaly under my arm warmers and my leg warmers. This stuff is called Topicrem, Topicrem, and it has only flaxseed oil and only, I think, 24 other ingredients. There's no bad stuff in this, because all these years I could not put stuff that has all this junk in it. And now, yesterday, I realized how I was listening to my own intelligence, because we listened to a really interesting podcast by Dr. Chris Sonnenberg. And he is part of he and his wife, Erica, are part of a big study that's also called Game Changers, about the microbiome in the gut, but in the whole body. It's everywhere. So it's everywhere on us, and it's so fascinating. And it's really worth listening to on YouTube, because I really wanted to understand, wait a minute, what can I do, to really clear up what I've been dealing with for years and years. And I've rarely done very few antibiotics in my years, and I've been really careful about my food, but still, come on. I'm doing better now, and I'm really happy about it. So I would just love to know, I'd like to open this up to any comments that you have, or any questions that you have. And know that I am so grateful that I have this time to smell the roses and go out and thank personally every bush, and talk to the blossoms that come, and thank them. And thank all of you for being here, and knowing that each time that we do a heart hug together, or we look at our animals with a feeling of love and appreciation, that we are, each one of us, making a difference in the world. So please just raise your hand so I can see you, because we have, holy moly, we have 6 rows down, and this only went out 2 days ago. I would love to do this again and share some of the pictures when I get more help, because I had so many pictures I wanted to share with you all, and I just couldn't figure out how to get them up with you. They're really fun. And I want to show you what I was doing before COVID, running and jumping through that exercise ladder. And I'll be back again if possible. And you know what? If I'm not, I'm going to be inspired by those of you who've been dealing for years with issues, and just doing the best we can to share and to learn. And for me to have this time to learn is, wow, it's just a blessing. So, who would like? Julie,
Linda.
Hunter, yeah.
I was going to suggest they raise their hands using the reaction, because there's so many people.
Yes, please, that's what I meant to say, Marty, yeah.
Yeah, go to the bottom of the screen and reaction, and you click on it, it'll have raise your hand on there as one of the things.
So we've got Julie popped up first.
Yeah, thanks for all of this. It's always just so cool listening to you. It's so encouraging and everything. And I was just curious, how did that ended with the leg warmers and the cold feet? Did that help in the end because you were just saying your feet were so cold, subjectively cold when you're sitting.
No more cold feet.
Yeah.
I don't have cold feet anymore, as long as I've got the leg warmers on.
Yeah, cool.
So excited. And I got the white ones, and they're soft, and they're really fun, and they come up above the knees. So yeah, I have this really cute picture that I want you to see. It's really funny. So thank you for your question, Maggie. And by the way, Maggie,
sorry, my camera doesn't work on my phone. Hi, Linda. I'm so glad to see you. I just was blessed with my last quarter at UCSB to get my bachelor's degree in art with an interdisciplinary class, which was art and neuroscience.
Wow.
And Yes, and the book that was chosen for all 10,000, there's more even, one free book per year is chosen, and the book is called Your Brain on Art.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
oh my gosh, I highly recommend it. And it comes into play with animals, play. It's about play and spontaneity. And
Beautiful.
that it has to be part of our life. So when you said fun, I went, oh my gosh. So yeah, Your Brain on Art. And then another book that I did my term paper on is called Free Play. And I got into more spontaneity in my artwork than I ever imagined I could. I'm more a sculptor and I think about my pieces. I make a maquette first and I painted a canvas teal and I threw some plaster on it and I did a styrofoam woman's head and I took photos and I was out of my mind. And then they did a photo. One of the digital artists helped me do different colors of the photos, and it turned into this montage, a presentation, and I was like, free play. So fun and art, and it takes it into all realms of life. Like doctors are artists, anyone, any maestro, when you hit your stride, a surfer is an artist. And
When you,
so when you,
Maggie, when you
yes,
send a photo, send me a
I
couple of
will.
pictures of your work.
I
Thanks.
will. I'll send you the GIF. I made a kicky GIF out of that thing, but it just stretched my brain. I could feel the non-habitual, the whole Feldenkrais coming into play. And wow, I was giggling and I'm 65 and the kids loved it. The kids were like, who is this old lady? So thank you. I'm so glad you're better.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll put
Great.
those in the chat.
Oh, I
Okay,
was going to
thanks.
ask you, put them in the chat.
Great. Yeah.
I will. Thanks.
And Martin, please remind me to write it down. Maybe I can get it on Audible. Margaret Perry, hi. And by the way, yeah, if you want to see the people speaking a little bigger, which is nice, go up to the top and hit speaker. And I can't find mine right now. This is interesting. Oh, I know why. Okay, so I have to go to the top. Okay, Margaret Perry, unmute yourself, please. And maybe you can turn your camera on. You're still muted down at the bottom. Look at that down on the bottom left, and you'll see a little microphone with a red and a stripe through it. Oops. Do we have to unmute her? No. Oh, sorry, you can't, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yay.
Hi, Linda. Thank you very much for sharing all this with us because let's face it, a lot of us are getting older and a lot of us are facing some of the same issues that you have been experiencing. So you sharing all this information with us is really helpful. Thank you.
Great.
And
You're
I'm
welcome.
really glad that you're feeling better.
Thank you. Okay,
And I'm not sure how to turn my camera on.
right beside the microphone is a little camera, and you just click it.
Okay.
It's video. It's a video camera.
Yeah, I don't see it anywhere, but there you go. I'm on my phone, and so it's really hard to find
Oh,
anything.
I don't know on the phone. Maybe it's not there. That's a possibility.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else would
So-
like to share some of the journeys that you found for your own health? And has anybody else seen the movie The Game Changers? Looks like not. I mean, Roland has prostate cancer, and of course, his oncologist, we have a personal support by a dietitian who's really wonderful. But of course, they want a lot of, meat and stuff, and because that's their belief. And that was my belief too, even though I've attempted to be vegetarian before with not good success at all because I wasn't basing it on science. And I was only basically had salads available in Europe. So it's really worth knowing the details of what it takes. And to really get what you need. Nobody else wants to share. Oh, boo-hoo. Okay, well. Julie, I like your smile.
What are we sharing?
Any experiences you've had with that's helped your health issues that you have, or any questions that you have for me?
We're selfishly savoring all of your thoughts.
Well, you can ask me any questions. Let's see what else. I have 2 pages of notes and I have so many pictures I wanted to share with you. Well, let me just, actually, I would like to, I'd like to share this because this is one that I can find easily. I'm going to go.
Linda, I have to go, but I wanted you to know how much TTouch from Tact 1 till now has changed my life.
Who's
And if you
speaking?
remember Sharon at all, you know how afraid I was around the horses. And I've been grooming horses for a group that works with at-risk kids. And so there's one spa day to give the horses a break. And I've been volunteering for 7 years now to go groom them on spa day.
Oh, how exciting.
Never ever thought I could do that. So
Incredible.
I love you and I love everything TTouch has given me.
Thank you so much. And
Okay.
one of the things that I actually, before I do this, I want to, wait a minute, how do I get back here? I have to go to the top. Come on.
Linda, and I think Janice Fromm had something to say.
Oh, good, good. I can't see any other,
I saw her, so Janice,
Okay.
can you unmute?
Am I heard?
yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that, first of all, for lots of you that don't know me, I've been dealing with rheumatoid arthritis for 44 years now, and it has really changed my life. But what I want to say is I had a big aha moment one morning when I was getting ready for work, and I caught a glimpse of my hands in the mirror, and I went, "Oh my God, those are ugly, ugly hands. They're so crippled. Here they are." Okay. And I had a look at them and then I thought, but wait a minute. I still can get ready for work. I do things. I could still take care of myself. Oh my God, I love you. And I kissed my hands all over and thanked them in appreciation for what they were still doing for me. And since that time, I am so appreciative of anything that I can do. And since then, I've had both knees replaced, I've had a hip replaced, and that sort of thing. And all those things were good. They were good things to do. And right now, I've gone into a ritual of I'm going to start to cry, but send love from my own heart to my own body when I get in bed at night, and doing doing touch on my hands and different parts of my body. And Linda, I want to tell you a story that when I was in the office, you had spent a few days working touch on my right hand. And what I want you to know is that all these years with arthritis, I have 2 fingers. There's a lump here, but that's because I injured it because scraping some vegetables, and my thumb, and they do not have arthritis in them. Everything else does, but those 2 do not. And I credit that from you doing that touch for that little bit of time on my hands. And so I still remember to do that on all of my body, whatever I can reach. And certainly I find that imagining breathing from the heart and doing the heart hugs and sending that love to myself, it's like I've completely forgot it. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Thank you.
Janice, thank you so much. And I want you, I just want to share something, Jen, before I acknowledge you. This concept that Maggie Powell was talking about, this heart hug concept. I want us to share this whole thing. This idea of however we connect with our heart chakra, which is here. It can be the folded hand, the lightly cupped hand. I like to often fold my hand because I can just catch with this skin and do a tiny, like 1.25 circle. And it's almost a quarter. It's 5 degrees short of the quarter mark. And what I really want you to get is this concept that we imagine taking a clock off the wall and putting it on our chest here. The reason we imagine is what Maggie Powell talked about. Imagining activates our right brain, and that is activated by art, by play, by dance, by movement, and it activates our creativity. It also, this 1.25 circle and the imagining the clock here, that also activates our compassion for others. And it also brings us to a connection. It's compassion, and feeling. Through COVID, so many people stopped feeling. We don't feel our bodies. Like, what concerned me is I couldn't feel my frozen feet. And the fact is, this compassion, creativity, feeling, and intuition. And for me, intuition is just realizing that we can just ask through prayer, through just knowing that we can ask anytime. We can ask for whatever we need. And the fact that we put the numbers on the clock, then we take that clock with the numbers, and the 6 o'clock specifically goes toward the ground. Now the 9 specifically goes to the right shoulder, 12 toward the chin, and 3 toward the left. Now, why do I say that? Because that activates the logical left brain, sorry. And when we can activate the creativity and the right brain and also the logic, we can be in a state of high anxiety, which I know a couple of people here have shared this with others who were really in a state of total trauma and out of control, and come back into yourself with this 1.25 circle. And it's like a homeopathic blessing that's there. You don't need to know what I just said, but when you do know it, it's that much more powerful with that realization. And this idea of sharing that, share it with all your friends, because this idea of being able to feel, to create, to intuit, and to feel compassion for others and for ourselves. And Janice, that concept of loving ourselves. One of my greatest heroes is Jerry Jampolsky, and his books, Love is Letting Go of Fear. And we have choices. Are we fearful, or do we choose love from the heart? And it's just such a pleasure to be with you all in this way. And one of the things that I have been teaching with Eleanor Silverstein before COVID, we started teaching online. And I've been having now this 2-hour class every Tuesday called Live with Linda and Friends. And I've just loved it, but I stopped it a couple of months ago because I realized I needed a sabbatical and I needed this time for myself. I didn't know I was going to have this BE and wind up having doctor's orders, thank heaven, to take time for myself. And it's been a blessing. But the other thing that I realize is that this gift of TTouch it's a gift from heaven, and I can't charge a price for it anymore. So when I start this up again, we're figuring a way that you can donate what you want to and what you can for it. This is what I have to do with the rest of my teaching like this. So, Jen, you're on. Or where are you? You had your hand up there. I can't believe how many people we have on here with 2 days' notice.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm not exactly sure what to say. I trouble over my words a lot.
So put your hands on your heart, just like this, on your heart chakra, and just very gently, with very little, just enough to move the skin, do this and breathe. And then maybe you'll find the words. Or we can just be there with you.
I think it's the philosophy behind TTouch that has affected my life the most. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll just come back another time.
Don't be sorry. You can speak through your tears, through your crying. You know, that's a great gift to us when we dare to actually share our feelings, our emotions, because mostly we don't have that opportunity, particularly when they're joyful. So it's fine to have trouble speaking.
I think philosophy of TTouch behind it is what has stuck with me. In fact, that's what years ago when I had my practitioner one final project, it was the philosophy is what I spoke about, and that is what has carried me through and helped me parent. And what I'm most interested in is how TTouch affects mental health and its role. And I've seen it, and it's wonderful. And the words that I keep in mind is the humor that can be brought in with TTouch, the playfulness, the exploration, the curiosity, the observation, the chance to make a mistake, in quotes. I say mistake in quotes because it's not necessarily a mistake. It's more information, and I'm so much more comfortable in the gray zone than I've ever been. You know, I may not be making too much sense but
you are
it's, very profound. And
yes.
And my son is went through a really, really tough crisis, and helping him through it, and having to stand back and observe and respond instead of react. And it's just been wonderful to have TTouch along for the ride. So thank you. And also, most recently, I was in one of the Tuesday sessions, and you were telling everybody to just smile, and it does help. Smiling, and you know, it's a way to just begin sometimes.
Beautiful. And the thing is that smiling activates our feel-good hormone, the serotonin. And all we have to do is stretch our lips. And one of the things I've been doing is I've been doing on our TV, the Lee Holden Qigong, and he has this beautiful meditation on smiling, and how many, it's like 80 muscles that it activates in our bodies, and the hormones that it activates. It's really beautiful. So thank you so much. And I have to tell you, you know, it's like what has kept me going through all of this is just counting my blessings. Every time I started to feel sorry for myself that I was good, I couldn't think, I couldn't focus, I couldn't do my work. And I would just say, wait a minute, count your blessings. Every time, see that half empty glass as half full. We have a choice. And you have to sometimes click into that because sometimes I would forget it. And there were times that I actually had to write down those gratitudes. I mean, the fact that we have something to put on our mouths, and when we look at the people around the planet who don't have, and instead of feeling sympathy, feel empathy and know, wait a minute, we can send out this knowing to the universe. You're not alone. You have this divine intelligence that is within you. Tap into this. We are all universally divine. And for those of you who have been blessed to actually connect with the Christ energy, the prayer possibilities, you know, there are some amazing, this one amazing book I love. I think it's by not Dawson Church, Larry Dossey, another doctor who's written these wonderful books on medicine. And the fact that prayer actually has as much success as intervention from hospital, from medicine. And that's a proven fact. It's really interesting. And I know I've had so many people praying for me and holding me, and we can do this for ourselves, Jan, all of it for yourself, sending those prayers into your own body of gratitude that we're here, that we actually can think enough to do that and can move any part of us to do that. That's the thing that has kept me going. So thank you for sharing that.
Nice. Thank you.
Hey, Samantha, I love that. I haven't seen that. That is very cool. Look at that. Oh my. Elaine, Tate, talk to us.
Hello, so good to see you again, Linda. Not seen you for a while. I actually am here today because I had a dream about you a couple of nights ago, and it was saying that I have to do Tellington Touch for you. So how do I join that group? How do I?
Well, the fact that you're asking right now, where Marnie has so generously offered to keep our class going, just meeting the class that was, because nobody wanted to stop. So the meeting on a regular basis, and we have to discuss this and see how we're going to start up again and what the format will be. I'm just kind of waiting to see how are we going to bring this together so that we have a platform that people can pay what they want. And that's Elaine. So maybe what I have to do is maybe what I'll start doing is doing these regular weekend things so we can start with it. And just I'm going to show you all something, and maybe someone has an idea about this, because first of all, you can begin by getting this book. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Come on, Linda.
Well,
you can go online and get the book TTouch for Healthcare. Healthcare practitioners, and you can just start practicing the 9 elements and the TTouch. And this book, this is the book that's in the second printing in German. I just love it. The only thing it's waiting for is a cover and a title, and then it will be self-published. And we don't have a title for it. We have Discover the Infinite Wisdom of Your Body, but I don't think that's it. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. So we need maybe Tuesday you all can look at that. A title and a picture. We don't have a picture because we're self-publishing. But just start with that, Elaine, and start learning the 9 elements. And if you have any questions, you can, let's see, where can you put them? You can put them, send them to Kirsten at TTouch.com, and she'll pass them along to us and we'll answer you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I've got one more question for you, if that's okay.
Yep.
I wanted to get an animal communicator to speak to my horse, and I remember hearing that you had a really good one. I was wondering what her name is and if I can get in touch
Her
with.
name, yes, you can. Her name is Miranda Alcott, and I have worked with her for years because she's also a medical intuitive and works with veterinarians. And, you know, so for people, just go online, you'll see Miranda Alcott.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think her website is In Another Voice, but you'll find her. Yeah, I've worked with her for years. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And we'll look forward to you joining us.
Thank you.
Lisa. Lisa Lee, we see you. Bottom left, very bottom corner, you'll find that little red microphone with the line through it.
Did I get it?
You got it.
Okay, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for these Zoom sessions that you've done. You've helped me so much. I'm having a lot of trouble organizing my thoughts, but I was in a car accident in 2016 in Long Island, New York, and I had been a musician all my life, a violinist, and I was teaching at a great school. I was looking to start my doctorate work and trying to decide what program I wanted to do. And basically, I got a TBI from the car accident, and it's been a long journey. So basically, I've had to move back to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, where I grew up, and I'm helping my elderly mom. But way too much information to explain. But the TTouch has helped me a great deal. One of the biggest problems I'm having is I'm very high functioning. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're doing great. You don't really have, seems like you're so much better." But inside, I'm not. And having been a teacher for so long, realizing that we don't understand the brain really at all, and that I remember so many things about different things, and then other things I don't. So it's very mysterious. So this cellular intelligence is very intriguing to me. So I'd love if you can send out the email for the TTouch for you, if you can kind of give us an email that explains how to join. I'm able to find things like recently I downloaded some free resources you all had, or some PDFs I got from Google, and it was the body wraps, and I'm pretty sure it said that for TBI or something, but it takes me so much energy to get in there, and it's so weird because as a teacher, like I was able to, okay, you just pick up the book and you read it and apply it. It's so hard for me to do that now. And being in Oklahoma City, I rarely find anybody in person that can help me. I've looked on the website. I think there's one TTouch person in, I believe it's Bristow, Oklahoma. But it's like there's nobody here physically, and I find it so hard. Also, two other quick things is I had the great gift of learning from an outstanding Alexander Technique teacher in Long Island. Alexander Technique is a little bit similar to Feldenkrais. I don't know Feldenkrais at all, so maybe I'm saying something wrong, but it's about how you use yourself.
Yes, I know it actually, because
Okay.
we had quite a few Feldenkrais, I mean, Alexander teacher, people in our Feldenkrais training. I had the incredible privilege of spending 4 summers of 12 weeks with Moshe Feldenkrais, and then he said
Yes.
we weren't ready yet, so we had to take another 6 weeks where we were supervised with working on people every day with him, but it was incredible. So Lisa, what I would suggest that you do, think about this idea can you see me even though you don't have your thing on?
Yes, I can see you.
I can't make myself big. I can't find my little plates up on the top to make my picture bigger.
I can see you full screen right now.
So just put your hand lightly, like your
Okay.
thumb underneath your arm, and curve your fingers lightly. Just let them rest, not rest your arm, just support the weight of your own arm and hold your fingers, like tap your fingers really lightly. And then with the lightest contact, move the skin in 1 circle and a quarter. And smile. And smile, because that activates that feel-good hormone, and that actually sends this amazing flush of these incredible hormones through our body. And when we move the skin lightly, what happens is we activate the most oxytocin. And that is from a 2,000 person study from the American Massage Association, showing that the lightest contact actually creates the most oxytocin. And Dr. Bruce calling
It's what I'm thinking I should do is I should just do it. So I started it, and all I've got on it is.
Thanks. Okay, so just that moving gently 1 1/4 circles, and just start talking to different parts of the body, and do this. Actually, I'm doing it on my arm because it's easier for you to see. But let me show you one other thing, all of you. Let's just do this together before we end. And I'm going to do this again next Sunday. We're going to go deeper into this and start giving you some of the things that we can all work with. So just put your hand lightly. I'm using my right hand up on the top of my head, just lightly, like don't rest it. Rest it and see what that feels like. It's a downer. Just touch your top of your head and lift a little and I'm just moving my hair in a circle and a quarter, and take a big smile and say, thank you for my hair. If you have any, we are no guys here, so we all have hair. And then go down the side and thank you for my brains. No matter how they're working, Lisa, you can still be with us. Let's give thanks for that. And thank for my hearing. And by the way, I have hearing aids now, not because I can't hear you, because there are sounds. And this is something I want to talk about, how important that is to check it. Shoulders. Yes. Wow. We carry the weight of the world on you. Let's just move 1 1/4. Deep, like breath through the nose and a little out through your lips. And oh dear, I'm going to go down the arm. 1, starting toward the ground with a 6 and coming around. Thank you, elbows. Yes, yes. And this elbow has a plate and 5 pins, for which I'm very grateful. Let's go a little lower and let's get the wrist. Thank you. And thank you, all the fingers, the fact that they're there, because I worked with amazing people who didn't have them. Yes, thank you. Whatever you have, whatever you can use it. Now, let's just go down the other side, just lightly. I have a little bit of trouble reaching this because of my ulna. Down the side, thank you, thank you, thank you, these cells. Remember, every cell in the body knows its function in the body. Yes. I'm going to talk about this, why I say that next Sunday or Saturday. I don't know yet which I'm going to do it. Let's go down the side, just down, all the way down the pelvis, down your legs. And if you can't reach down, imagine you can. Or just bring your leg up to you if you can. Thank you. Yes, all the way down to my ankles and my toes. Now, let's touch our throat very gently. Thank you. Now, the esophagus. Let's go down here. Let's just catch all of this part that comes down the heart. Oh, yes. All the way down to our belly, and those incredible numbers of beings that are in there. All the microbiome. Yes. And let's just ask anybody who's not in our best interest, like to dissipate. Let's have you leave the body. Yes. reach back and just touch your back with the back of your hand. That's the easiest. And say, thank you. And smile. Remember to smile and just kind of get excited. And then find some place that maybe is a problem. And just like in your case, when your brain is not always clear, and man, do I know that brain fog. Let's just take our hands and imagine shining a light just on here and bring into our hands that beautiful light all around us. And reflect, like make our hands a mirror so they mirror that phenomenal intelligence in every part of our brain, every brain cell. Yes, and come back to our heart. And let's just send now a heart hug, 1 1/4 heart hug. Oh, first of all, to all your animals, because many of you come here because you're animals. And then let's send it into the cascading through our entire body. And then let's send a heart hug out to all of the people who are feeling alone, wherever they are on the planet. And send them the knowing we are all one. You're not alone. There's divine source, universal, phenomenal energy. This command central energy everywhere. Remember that. And I'll
Wow.
make another announcement for next week. And I haven't yet decided Saturday or Sunday. It depends when my sister Robin is doing. Oh, wait, Saturday I have a master class with horses, so it'll be Sunday. Thank you all. Janice, thank you so much. Kiss those fingers.
Did you want me to tell them how to save the chat? Because there was a
Oh,
lot
yes,
of
please. Oh, I love this. I love, yes, please, Marnie. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
If you don't know how to save the chat, because there is a lot of information people would want to hang on to, I would think, just click on chat, the icon at the bottom. And then when it comes up at the top on the right, there are 3 dots. Click on the 3 dots. And at the top of that drop down will be save chat. And that will come to you after you sign off. You'll find it on your computer.
Marnie, thank you so much. Thank you for all being here. And Valentina, may I call you right now? When I hang up, I'm going to call. Love you all. See you next Sunday. Aloha. Thank you.
Thank
Ciao.
you. You are back
Blessings.
again.
Maggie, send me some pictures.
Maybe
Ava, hi.
I'm so happy to see you. Hello to everybody.
Lisa. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Lisa, you noticed your dress. This is a gift from Lisa. Like, I love it. It's silk and it's from India. And I wear it all the time. Love you all.
Love you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Julie, hi. Hey, I see you, Connie. I didn't see you before.
Everything, love you.
Hey, Karen, I see you on your horse. Fantastic. Blessings, you
Hi,
all.
Linda. Thank you so much. Aloha.
Blessings. Phoebe, I see you and your dogs, my favorite dog pictures. Ciao. Stop. Stop the recording.